Week 10 of the NFL season is here, and it is time to kick off the second half of the season by breaking down the slate from a FanDuel perspective. I'm looking at my top projected lineup and the core plays at each position. If you guys are looking for a DraftKings video, I've also got one of those up on the YouTube channel. And of course, I'm being assisted by the use of the data and tools at Stokastic.com. Use the contest generator and then simulate the lineups out in the Sims tools. And these are the results that I got from here. Starting with my top overall projected lineup, it is a Saints double stack. Derek Carr, the quarterback, running backs, Joe Mixon and Devin Singletary, pass catchers, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and then we've got Evan Ingram and Bijan Robinson rounding out the lineup with the Cowboys defense going up against Tommy DeVito and that terrible Giants team. Got the Cowboys defense in here, the defense that pretty clearly has the most upside on the slate on the whole, because we've got this Giants team that can't really move the ball, but also has a terrible offensive line, figures to be turnover prone with Tommy DeVito at quarterback. I don't typically spend a whole lot of time talking about defenses, but the Cowboys are kind of a unique situation for this weekend. Now let's go to the exposures and look at each spot position by position, see who the core plays are that I'm building my lineups around during this run. Quarterback. So only 3 QBs that I have any kind of meaningful exposure to. That is Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, and Joe Burrow. I think those are the 3 guys you really want to be building around. And then beyond that, I don't have a single quarterback in more than 3% of lineups over on FanDuel. 3% of Lawrence, 2% Pickett, 2% Mayfield. So what we're doing here, we're building around Prescott, building around Geno Smith, building around Joe Burrow. Prescott only projected for single-digit ownership. Interesting guy to get overweight to the field too. I know that he didn't have a massive game the first time the Giants played the Cowboys, but that game was so incredibly lopsided. And not to say it can't be a blowout this time, but can we really expect the Cowboys to win 40-0 again, where Prescott just doesn't have to throw the ball in the second half? Maybe that'll happen, but I do think there's a lot of opportunity for Cowboys onslaught stacks to put up massive scores against the Giants. Let's look at running back now. Running back core plays, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, James Conner coming back from injury, Bijan Robinson, Aaron Jones, Devin Singletary. We're going to have to make sure that James Conner doesn't have any kind of real restrictions, because it does look like we've got a fairly healthy Cardinals team. James Conner back from injury. We've got Kyler Murray back from injury. And the Cardinals offense this year, I know the team on the whole has been terrible, but it's been slightly better than expected. And the offense has produced some upside at times, and they're getting healthy right now. So some exposure to the Cardinals here. And then at the running back spots, we're getting to a lot of Joe Mixon and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, just a really good spot for him against that Giants team. Not to have to rehash that exact same matchup, but Tony Pollard hasn't had the best fantasy season. If there was any week of the year that we were going to see Tony Pollard break out, this is the perfect game script against the Giants. And also, best game of the year that Pollard has had so far did happen to come against the Giants in another game that was a really favorable game script for him. And then the most rostered running back that I'm getting to here is 60% of Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon is in a pretty good spot for the Bengals right now. There is no T. Higgins. That's going to open up more usage for Mixon potentially in the passing game. But then also with Joe Burrow just being healthy, we've got a Bengals team that's running the ball not super efficiently, but there are going to be more red zone opportunities for Mixon going forward, because with Burrow healthy, it does mean the Bengals are going to be moving the ball downfield more. They've looked better as of late, scoring more points. And Joe Burrow has gone from a guy who was really handicapped at the start of the year, playing on one leg with a calf injury, to now being somebody who's playing like an MVP caliber quarterback. Wide receivers. Poor plays at wide receiver for this weekend: Trent Irwin, Jamar Chase, Chris Godwin, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Keenan Allen. So not going all that expensive at running back, because we're really spending most of our salaries here at wide receiver. Irwin is just a value play who stands out. He's only projected for 8.5 fantasy points, but it's still enough for me to wind up with 47.3% of him, because it's the salary savings. He's close to min price. DraftKings fan, just a really, really cheap wide receiver. And he's the guy who we are projecting to step up in the absence of T. Higgins and take on a bigger role for the Bengals. So he's a really good source of salary savings. Then paying up at wide receiver, somebody like Jamar Chase, who also is benefiting from the absence of T. Higgins. CeeDee Lamb, he correlates really well with the Dak Prescott exposure we're getting to. And then Tyler Lockett as a number 1 pass catcher to get in some of those lineups that are containing Geno Smith at QB. Let's see the tight end core options. At tight end, we've got Evan Ingram, Trey McBride, Jake Ferguson. So pretty tight group of tight ends. And then beyond that, some exposure to Hawkinson, Laporta, but a lot of exposure to Evan Ingram. And then Trey McBride also, who should perform better going forward now that Kyler Murray is back from injury. I don't usually look at defenses here, but I'm kind of curious to bring it up just to see what we're getting to from the Cowboys. Nothing too crazy, 10%. We're getting to a lot of the Buccaneers defense as of now. So that is a roundup of everything that our sims are currently showing, are the core options to get to for FanDuel. If you guys found this video helpful, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to sign up for our NFL package, there's a link below. It includes everything that went over on screen here. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Good luck this weekend, and I'll see you back here next week.